Welcome back to What Healing Knows. Before we begin, take one breath with me. Healing begins when we pause and return to yourself. After more than 20 years in medicine, one truth has remained clear to me. The body knows how to heal when we learn to listen. This space is an invitation to slow down, to listen, and to come back to yourself without pressure. This is Segment 3, Devotion and Discipline, Episode 4, Rituals Restore Balance. Each sunrise is a small new year, a moment where the mind can begin again. One of my fondest memories growing up is celebrating the new year in Ethiopia every September. After the winter months of rain in June, July, and August, the hills across Ethiopia begin to glow with wildflowers, Ade Abeba from the daisy family, bright yellow, delicate, everywhere at once. They push through the damp soil as if the earth itself has decided to celebrate the new year, which we call Enkutatash, gift of the jewels. We rose early and moved from house to house in small groups. Some of us carried the flowers. All of us carried songs. We sang with fearless energy, joyful and loud, our voices ringing through the neighborhood in unison. People opened their doors and their hearts. We offered flowers and our voices. In return, we received fresh bread, sometimes coins, but always blessings. Inside the homes, coffee roasted slowly over charcoal, fresh grass spread across the floor, embroidered white dresses and cotton shawls moved gracefully through the rooms. Conversations stretched long into the afternoon. The calendar had turned, but what truly marked the new year was presence and oneness. Regardless of religion, politics, or differences, people shared a collective breath. For a day, the whole country paused and the nation stepped out of ordinary time and remembered what mattered most: community, gratitude, renewal, hope, and healing. At the time, we never called it a ritual. It was simply something we did every year. Looking back, though, I realized that is exactly what it was: a ritual that gathered people, slowed time, and reminded us to begin again with intention. Across cultures, rituals serve the same purpose: decorating a tree for Christmas, breaking the Ramadan fast at sunset, lighting birthday candles before making a wish, prayer before meals, drinking coffee in the morning. These repeated acts transform ordinary moments into rituals. They create meaning, invite stillness, and remind us that life unfolds through cycles of pause and renewal. Healing works the same way. The nervous system learns and trusts through repetition and what the body experiences consistently. When acts of care and wholeness are repeated with intention, they become rituals. Over time, these rituals signal safety and invite us to pause, reflect, and reset. One of the most powerful moments to create such rituals is at the beginning of the day, before the noise begins and takes shape. Your body wakes up before your mind. In the brief window between opening your eyes and full awareness, between sleep and wakefulness, between unconsciousness and consciousness, your body wakes and begins to speak. It tells you what it needs to remain steady, healthy, and well. At that moment, the brain is soft, open and still arriving, and you have a rare opportunity to guide your thoughts before it defaults to whatever story was running before sleep. So instead of easing into the day and letting it happen to you, you can shape it by choosing your first thought with intention. Because your first thought becomes the leader. Every thought that follows either supports it or struggles against it. Morning gives you a chance to interrupt that pattern. Pause, reset, choose what enters the mind. Once the mind shifts into reaction, guiding it becomes much harder. So instead of asking how you feel, tell yourself how you will move through the day. Instead of waiting to see if you have energy, decide that you do. Instead of wondering whether today will be a good day, decide that it will be the day you create. Think of your mind in the morning like a blank page. For a brief moment after waking, nothing has been written yet. The story has not begun. And if you do not choose and write the first line, passive thoughts will write it for you. A worry, a memory, a problem waiting to be solved. And once the page fills, it becomes harder to change the direction. Choose to write thoughts that will guide the day before the noise arrives. Decide how you'll meet the morning before the world begins speaking. Perfection is not the goal. Ownership is. So many of us spend our lives reacting to thoughts we never chose. We wake and follow whatever thought and feeling appears. We become passengers in our own minds. But remember, the first moments of the morning belong to you. Use them to decide how the day begins. Rather than waiting to feel ready, create readiness. Rather than waiting to feel strong, decide how you will move forward. Rather than hoping for a good morning, begin one. The first hour shapes the day. Anchor the day with a consistent wake up time. Every morning, pause and remind yourself of the privilege of opening your eyes, breathing, and thinking. Accept the gift of a new day, another chance to begin again, and choose to start steady. If you play bowling, you know the first roll often sets the tone for the entire frame. When the ball starts straight and steady, the pins fall with far less effort. When the first roll drifts off course, the rest of the frame becomes an attempt to recover. Morning works the same way because the direction of the day is often set in the first hour. This is not about waking up early. It's about waking up at the same time each day. Just as you mark the new year on the same day each year, choose a wake up time that fits your life and keep it steady, even on nights when you go to bed later than planned. Your body wants to know when the new day begins so it can set the rhythm of its internal clock. With repetition, your nervous system settles into a pattern it can trust. Sleep research supports this idea. Studies have shown that people who wake up at constant times tend to think more clearly, have steadier energy, and experience more stable moods. In fact, researchers studied sleep patterns found that regular wake time predicted better daily performance even more strongly than the total hours of sleep. Remember that your day is shaped in the first hour, not in the afternoon where your energy fades, not at night when the mind is tired. The first hour determines whether you spend the day reacting or creating. Action. Set one wake up time and keep it the same every day, even on nights when you went to bed later than usual. Slow down the brain, stabilize the nervous system. Between sleep and wakefulness, there is a brief moment when you can slow down and guide your thoughts. If you do not claim that moment, the mind quickly fill it with yesterday's regrets that you cannot change or tomorrow's worries that you cannot control. Those thoughts set a chain reaction in motion, triggering the biological responses we call emotion. When emotions are built on regret or worry, your nervous system moves the body into urgency. Muscles tighten, the heart rate rises, the body prepares for action to defend itself. The mind then becomes aware of this emotional state, and regardless of its accuracy, it translates into feelings such as anxiety, fear, worry, or sadness. And those feelings begin to guide your behavior for the rest of the day. You stay in bed longer, you move slower, you doom scroll through social media, you procrastinate. Remember that feelings pass, but the choices made from them can shape the entire day. And when the sun sets, you may find yourself feeling disappointed, reaching for external sources, substances, to quiet the thoughts that tell you the day was wasted. The good news is that you can break the chain with rituals. 2 minutes of a stillness ritual can guide the nervous system into calm before the day begins. Action. A moment of stillness at the beginning of the day signals the nervous system that the day begins with calm rather than urgency. You can use the 10-5-5C meditation for 2 minutes as a guide. Calm and pause. Close your eyes. Count your breath. Create distance and center yourself. Filter your mind. Choose which thoughts enter. Your mind accepts whatever arrives first. Memories, notifications, unfinished conversations, worries about what might happen next. Thoughts rarely arrive by accident. They are planned. If you do not choose what enters your mind, your environment will choose them for you. Filtering the mind means deciding which thoughts deserve your attention. As random thoughts pass through, ask one question. Does this thought help me move forward today? If the answer is no, let it pass. Mental noise is anything that takes up mental space without adding value. It often begins as a small worry, a passing doubt, or a thought that lingers longer than it should. Left alone, it multiplies. The mind fills with arguments that are not happening, problems that cannot be solved, and conversations that exist only in imagination. Before long, the mind feels crowded and restless, and it becomes difficult to remember where the noise even began. When this noise enters early in the morning, it follows you into every conversation, every decision, and every interaction throughout the day. You cannot control every thought that enters your mind, but you can choose which ones stay. Cut off the noise before it becomes the voice that shapes your day. Notice the thought, name it, let it go, because the quality of your day reflects the quality of your thought. Action. You cannot stop negative thoughts from entering your mind, but you can choose how much attention they receive. Acknowledge them and say, I see you, but you will not get my attention right now. Then imagine placing the thought on a cloud and watching it drift away. Replace it with a thought that moves you forward. Repeat this practice until it becomes a ritual of replacing unhelpful thoughts with intentional ones. Lock in one thought to guide the day. Create direction and identity. We wake up with many thoughts competing for attention. Problem to solve, messages to answer, things you forgot to do yesterday, and worries about what may happen next. When you first wake up, choose one clear thought that represents how you want to move through the day. Because when the mind is anchored on one guiding thought, decisions become easier and attention becomes sharper. So before you get out of bed, ask, what thought will I carry with me as I go through the day? Maybe it is, I move with calm, or I finish what I start, or nothing breaks my focus, or I return to presence. The thought you choose becomes the foundation of the day. Because when the day is built on fear, every decision becomes defensive. When it's built on doubt, every step becomes hesitant. But when it's built on strength, your actions become steady because you have one thought that will bring you back to clarity when distractions appear. It travels with you through meetings, through conversations, and moments of fatigue. So, set the tone early. Action. Choose one sentence to guide the day and repeat it until it settles in your mind. Let it become familiar. Let it shape how you move through the day. Create a deadline. Commit before the world takes over. Morning belongs to you for only a short time. Soon, messages arrive, conversations begin, responsibilities appear, the world starts asking for your attention. Without a boundary, the morning stretches on without direction. You linger on in bed, drift through thoughts, and promise yourself you will focus later. Later rarely arrives. And this is why it helps to set a clear window between the moment you wake up and the moment you get out of bed. It may be 10 minutes, it may be 30. The exact length matters less than the commitment. During that window, guide your thoughts, filter what enters your mind, choose the thoughts that will carry you through the day. When the set time arrives, get up and step into the world prepared. Why create a set time to rise? Because deadlines create urgency, and urgency creates focus. When you protect this boundary, the morning becomes intentional instead of accidental. Action. Choose a fixed window between waking and getting out of bed. During that time, complete your morning ritual before checking messages or engaging with the outside world. Morning ritual guide summary. 1. Wake up at the same time each day and let your wake time anchor the body. 2. Slow the mind before doing anything else. Stabilize the nervous system with Timpash 5C meditation. 3. Filter your first thoughts. Let go of thoughts that do not help you move forward. 4. Cut off mental noise early. If a thought loops, say, not now. 5. Choose one guiding thought, repeat it, and carry it through the day. 6. Set a morning boundary. Set a clear window between the moment you wake up and the moment you get out of bed. We do not have to wait for a new year to start fresh, to let go of the past, celebrate the present, and imagine a brighter future. Each sunrise is an invitation, a new day, another chance to begin again.